But they
But then
kicked
it
her out
happened
already.
again. No,
Yeah.
it happened one more time. But this time it was really bad because the whole their volleyball team, it was like a week before their wedding. They were supposed to get married, and he kind of disappeared on my sister. Like, he went missing for like 4 days. We couldn't get a hold of him. We couldn't find him. And it was at that moment when she canceled the wedding. Once he found out she canceled the wedding, it's kind of when he flipped the script. Like, he was a whole different person, and we've never, ever seen him like that. And then I told my sister, you know, he's a liar. We warned him about hitting you, about doing this, and he still didn't listen. And that's when, you know, I gave my sister the ultimatum. You know, I said, this is always going to be your home. I'm not kicking you out. You're always welcome here, but he can no longer stay in my house. I cannot have him here. And she was like, okay. And so I told him, I said, no, this is not your home anymore. And so we kicked him out. And I told my sister, you know, I said, you can stay here, but if you're going to choose to be with him, you need to go move and live with him, you know, you need to stay with him. And so she made the decision, you know, I know my home, I know where my home is, I know you guys are family, you guys are always going to be there, and I can always come back whenever I feel like it. So we left her room. Her room was always her room. We never touched anything because we knew sooner or later she would come back. And so she moved, and then she moved with him to a family's house, and that's when it just got scarier because my sister didn't have any of her blood family to lean on, yeah? Because in our home, he would never hit my sister or beat my sister in our home. It happened outside when they were away, yeah? And so now that she was kind of staying in his domain, in his territory, she was free game, yeah, like anything could happen, and so.
No, but when there was a lot of incidents at the brother's house in Ever Beach where they got into it, and he flew remotes at her, game remotes at her. He pushed her down on the ground, held her down on the ground, and she had to run from her bedroom to his brother's wife's room. So she ran in there trying to get protection with the brother's wife, and she said, oh my God, you know what, he's nuts. I'm calling my sister. So I live in Ever Beach too, and so she called me and said, you need to come and get me because I don't know what is going on with To'i, but he's whacking me and he's punching me in the face. I said, that's it, I'm coming right now. And so me, my husband, and my son, we drove over there, and I went in the house and I said, you need to come with me right now. So he walked out, and my husband is really big, so it's not like To'i was gonna do anything around us anyway. I had my sister pack all her stuff. We were all in her room. I said, pack all your stuff, you're done. You're done with him. I told you already, you're done. So she packed all her stuff. And his family was actually apologizing. We're so sorry, you know, these two always fighting, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But, you know, they think it's normal. You're going to make up. You fight, you make up. You fight, you make up. But this one got, I guess, physical more than verbal. And so my son and my husband packed all her stuff in the car, and we drove home, and I told her to stay there. I had the cops called, and I wanted them to look over her because she was hit again, you know, and he took her Hummer. He took her keys and left in her Hummer again. He always steals her car.
Was this like nearing the time, or this was still in
towards
the middle
of
their
middle.
relationship?
Could I ask, how many times, statistics show that it's sometimes 7 or 8 times the victim will be
it's more than
attacked
7 or 8 times.
or hurt?
About 10 times.
Yeah.
About upwards of 10, 12.
I'll tell you why. Because he keeps calling her, and he'll keep telling her, I changed. I've changed, babe. You know,
The scary thing too is that the courts, you actually got the police involved, law enforcement involved, and he actually had a temporary restraining order against him.
She had a protective order.
Protective order is actually higher than a TRO.
Yeah, for 20 years.
And he still.
See, what was happening with that was that he was
more towards
calling
the ending
from a
of
blocked number. Yeah, he kept calling from a blocked number. And in order for it to be a violation of the protective order, she needs to actually know that it's him on the line, because anybody can call with a blocked number. So she would answer some 20 calls a day. And my sisters loved him so much that hearing his voice and made her weak. You know, she was like, I need to help him. I need to help him.
That's
and
all she wanted to do was
keep
keep
answering.
helping.
And authorities told her, you know, in order for it to be a violation, you have to identify, you have to positively know it's him. So she would answer these calls 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, all throughout the night. And
But didn't a police officer bear witness that he said he's going to kill her?
Yep. That was
police
her. That was
officer.
the last one before she went into the shelter at her job. She put it on speakerphone so everybody could hear. And the police officer, that was when they were there, and they heard him threaten her to shoot her in the head. And that's when they told her, you know, you got to take more measures already. And so she was looking out for the family, and you know, what happens if I have my nephew or my niece and he comes and shoots all of us, you know, then it'll be on me. So she kind of, and then my husband told her, well, you know, what happens if one of the kids die and you live? Then you're gonna have to live knowing that somebody died because he came after you. So she went into the shelter.
There was numerous abusive cases,
Yeah.
and we took her to the courts. We got all of this documented, and we always called the cops. She's called the cops at her house. I've called the cops at my house, and it's
And
just
for some
been-
reason, he was one step ahead of her. He actually knew what was going on. Like, why are you calling the cops? Like, as soon as we would call the cops, he would know. Or like, yeah, like he was kind of one step ahead of my sister.
Like he knew the game almost.
yeah, almost, yeah.
Now that you know your family member is passed on, what are you left with? I mean, what are your thoughts, you know, on domestic violence, on prevention, on any of that? I mean, if you wanted to share something with people out there, what would you be sharing?
First of all, you need more advocates.
Yeah.
You need more domestic violence advocates, because 4 on the island or on the state of Hawaii is just not working. But we do need to get more help.
You know what? To my sister, she had this card, this domestic violence card, yeah, and it had a list of shelters on there. And I think there was only like 6. I think there was only 6. 4 of them were filled to capacity. So she had these other 2. And when she was in there, you know, it was all right. She actually, I mean, granted that it was free of cost, yeah, like they didn't make her. My sister had money, so she was paying, you know, like $3 a day for her meals, and it was all right.